Hello, it's Pastor Goodman, and I just want to talk with you a few minutes about some observations I've made through the years. I began my ministry 32 years ago in the United Methodist Church, and during that time, I went to seminary at the very beginning, of course, but quickly got out of the halls of academia and into the real world of the parish. And in those intervening years, one of the things that I have noticed is that along the way, churches, well, if we go back to the 50s, churches were built in a time in which there was tremendous growth in our country. The post-World War II baby boom was hitting our nation, and churches were being built right and left, and people were flocking to the churches, and they were having families, and there were Sunday schools, and there were camps being built, and there were all these facilities, and there were all these things that it just became the norm almost for society for someone to be in the church. Well, by the time the 80s had rolled around, and that's when I began my ministry back in, 1984, there was still enough of that sense in our country that the church is here, yeah, I'm going to go to it. That, in essence, we were saying, the building is here, the door is always open, you just need to come. My friends, that kind of attitude just doesn't exist among the generations that have been born since, let's say, 1970s onward. People will not come just because the doors of a church are open. People will not be part of a church just because the church has sat in that location for 50 years, 100 years or more. People are looking for something different. People are looking for a church that is involved in its community. People are looking for a church that takes active roles in making the place in which everyone lives a better place. They're looking for churches that understand that it's not about the architecture, but it's more about the relationship. It's more about how the church members interact with the people that live around them and that they work with or that they go to school with. You see, we can't just sit in our church building any longer and assume that people are going to come. We have to understand that there is a broader community, and when we talk about the church community, we're not just referring now in this day and age to those that come on Sunday. The church community refers to the broader expanse of the streets and the homes and the town around us. And we really have to understand that if we want to make an impact, we have to make an inroad. We have to begin to move into our community. We have to begin to reach out beyond ourselves, and people will begin to take notice. People are already beginning to take notice. I've heard more comments in the last few months that, yeah, you go to Trinity, don't you? You're the pastor at that church that's doing things in the community. I've heard people from other churches comment, yeah, I wish our church was doing as much as your church was doing. We are at the beginning point of transforming who we as a church are in the eyes of the community around us. We are at the point, I believe, of beginning to get people to see us in a new light, and more importantly, to see what the church is in a new light. My friends, we can't slow down. We can't back away. If anything, we need to intensify what we are doing as we reach into the community. It is tiring to do that. The month of October wore me out. But I know there's so much more to do. We've still got the great cookie caper in a few weeks. We've still got the Christmas cantata. We've still got the Christmas Eve service. And then winter months hit, and things do have to slow down a bit. We can't get out into the community as much. But I'm hoping that we will begin planning for a great series of events in the spring and a great vacation Bible school and other things to go on next summer, leading into another very busy fall. Because the community needs the message of love, needs the message of concern and care that only the church can provide. And so I encourage you, please be in prayer for our church, be in prayer for its ministries, and understand that God is calling us into more service, more action on behalf of the kingdom, more lives that can be touched. God bless, have a good day, and I hope to see you in church this Sunday.